Have you ever wondered why you can vote? Why you can speak up, share your opinions, or stand up for what you believe in? It wasn't always this way. Long ago, the world was very different. But across time, across kingdoms, revolutions, and movements, the idea of democracy was born, lost, found again, and shaped into what we know today. Let's travel through that story, one chapter at a time. Chapter 1, Ancient Athens, the first big idea, 507 BCE. Long ago, in a rocky city by the sea, there was a place called Athens. At the time, most of the world was ruled by kings and tyrants, leaders who gave orders and expected silence in return. But in Athens, something strange was happening. Instead of obeying just one ruler, citizens, well, some of them, began gathering in a big open space called the Agora. They argued, they shared ideas, they voted. A man named Cleisthenes helped shape this system, and they called it demokratia, the rule of the people. Now, this wasn't modern democracy. Women couldn't vote. Enslaved people had no rights. Foreigners were left out. Only adult, free men born in Athens had a say. But even so, it was a revolution in thinking. For the first time, people believed they could help decide their future. Chapter 2, England the King Faces the Law, 1215. Fast forward to the castles and stone halls of medieval England. The year 1215, a king named John was taxing his people heavily, making rules as he pleased, ignoring their needs. But this time, the nobles pushed back. They forced the king to meet them in a field at a place called Runnymede. There, he signed a document called the Magna Carta, Latin for Great Charter. It was the first time someone said out loud, "Even a king must follow the law." The Magna Carta didn't create democracy. Most people were still powerless. But it planted an idea that no one should have total control, not even royalty. That idea would not be forgotten. Chapter 3, A New Nation Experiments, America, 1787. Now we journey to a new land, the United States of America. The year is 1787. After a long fight for independence from Britain, the leaders of this new country gathered in a hot room in Philadelphia. There they argued, debated, and wrote something daring, the U.S. Constitution. This document set up a government by the people with separate powers, checks and balances, and elections. It was bold, it was flawed, it still left out women, indigenous people, and enslaved people. But it was another step. The United States became a laboratory for democracy, messy, growing, and watched by the world. Chapter 4, Voices Around the World, South America in the 1800s. Democracy wasn't staying in one place. In South America, countries were rising up against colonizers. A man named Simón Bolívar, known as the Liberator, led armies through mountains and jungles to fight for freedom. But Bolívar didn't just want independence. He wanted a future where people had a voice, where leaders were chosen, not born into power. People across the world began asking, why should only a few rule everyone else? The idea was spreading. Chapter 5, The Fight for Equality, U.S. Civil Rights, 1965. Now we move to a more recent battle, and it wasn't fought with swords, but with words, marches, and hope. In the United States, even 200 years after its founding, not everyone could vote. Black Americans were being blocked from polls, harassed, and silenced, but they didn't give up. In the 1960s, the civil rights movement rose up. With leaders like Martin Luther King Jr., everyday people marched in the streets, gave speeches, and faced danger, all for the right to be treated equally. In 1965, they won an important victory, the Voting Rights Act. It was a reminder that democracy only works if it includes everyone. Chapter 6, Breaking walls, Berlin, 1989. Now we fly across the ocean to a divided city, Berlin, Germany. For nearly 30 years, a tall concrete wall had split it in two, east and west. One side was democratic, the other controlled by a harsh government. People were not allowed to leave, not allowed to speak freely. But in 1989, the people rose up, not with weapons, but with courage. Crowds gathered, voices chanted, and suddenly the wall came crashing down. The fall of the Berlin Wall was more than just bricks. It was a signal that people still believed in freedom, even after decades of silence. Chapter 7. Chapter 7. A New Beginning, South Africa, 1994. In South Africa, another deep wound was healing. For years, a system called apartheid had kept black and white South Africans apart, in schools, in cities, in voting rights. But the people resisted, and in 1994, something amazing happened. Nelson Mandela, who had spent 27 years in prison for speaking up, was elected president. For the first time, all South Africans could vote, no matter their skin color. It was a moment of healing, of change, and of hope. Chapter 8. A Quiet Step, Uganda, 2005. In 2005, in Uganda, something smaller happened, but still important. For the first time in over 20 years, people could vote in a real multi-party election. That means they had more than one choice. It was peaceful. It was honest. And for many Ugandans, it was their first time feeling like their voice mattered. Democracy had taken another step forward. Chapter 9. Today, the story isn't over. Democracy is everywhere, and yet it's still unfinished. Some places are strong, others are struggling. People are still marching, still voting, still hoping. Because democracy is not just something from the past. It's something we build, protect, and shape together. The story of democracy is long. It's been quiet, and it's been loud. It's been messy and beautiful. But here's the truth. It's still being written, and now you are part of the story. If this story inspired you, like, share, or comment below. And ask yourself, what kind of future will you help shape?